Hello everyone. Picture biting into a chocolate cake and discovering it's filled with maggots. Just reading that probably made you feel something, a visceral, gut-level reaction we call disgust. But have you ever wondered why we feel disgusted? And more importantly, how this seemingly simple emotion shapes our entire moral universe? Disgust isn't just about avoiding rotten food or harmful substances. It's a complex emotion that has evolved from a simple survival mechanism into something that shapes our laws, morals, and even political views. When people say something is disgusting, they often mean it's morally wrong. But why do we link physical disgust with moral judgment? The story begins with our ancestors. Those who felt disgusted by potentially dangerous substances, like rotting meat or feces, were more likely to survive. But somewhere along the way, this physical reaction got hijacked by our social brains. We started feeling disgusted not just by things that could poison us, but by behaviors, ideas, and people that violated our social norms. Think about it. Why do we feel disgusted when someone betrays a friend? Why do different cultures find different things disgusting? And why do we use words like dirty, pure, clean, and contaminated to describe moral behavior? Research shows that people who are exposed to disgusting smells make harsher moral judgments. In one fascinating study, researchers found that judges handed out stricter sentences when their courtrooms had a bad smell. Our physical sense of disgust literally affects our sense of right and wrong. But here's where it gets really interesting. Different political groups are disgusted by different things. Conservatives tend to be more easily disgusted by violations of purity and sanctity, while liberals are more disgusted by perceived exploitation and inequality. Your disgust sensitivity might predict your political views better than your rational arguments. Some philosophers argue that disgust is dangerous precisely because it feels so natural and obvious. When we're disgusted by something, we don't feel the need to justify our reaction. It just feels wrong. This has historically led to serious problems like the disgust-based justification of racism, homophobia, and other forms of discrimination. Martha Nussbaum, a prominent philosopher, warns that disgust is an unreliable guide to morality. She points out that disgust has been used throughout history to marginalize and dehumanize certain groups. When we describe people as vermin or filth, we're using disgust to shut down our empathy and rational thinking. But others argue that disgust serves an important moral function. Without some form of moral disgust, would we react strongly enough to truly evil acts? Maybe feeling disgusted by cruelty and injustice helps motivate us to fight against them. The debate gets even more complex when we consider modern issues. Why do some people feel disgusted by genetic engineering or lab-grown meat? Why do others feel disgusted by traditional farming practices? Our ancient disgust mechanisms are trying to guide us through modern moral dilemmas they weren't designed for. Consider how disgust affects our daily lives. We might avoid sitting next to someone on the bus because they smell bad, or reject certain foods because they look wrong, or judge someone's character based on their personal habits. Our disgust reactions are constantly influencing our decisions, often without us realizing it. The digital age has added new dimensions to disgust. Social media allows us to publicly express our moral disgust and find others who share our reactions. Outrage culture might actually be disgust culture, driven by our need to collectively identify and reject what we find morally repugnant. Understanding disgust might be key to understanding ourselves. Why do we find certain things repulsive? Are our disgust reactions helping us make good moral decisions, or are they leading us astray? Can we override our disgust when it conflicts with our rational judgment? Next time you feel disgusted, pause and examine that feeling. Is it protecting you from harm, or is it prejudicing you against something unfamiliar? Is it guiding you toward better moral choices, or is it just an ancient survival mechanism misfiring in our modern world? Because maybe, just maybe, understanding our disgust might help us build a more rational, empathetic, and just society. Or at least help us understand why that chocolate cake story made you squirm. Thanks for watching.